Yeah, well, I think that it's very clear is that when you make that many number of handling errors at this level, it's very difficult to win, especially against a team of Scotland's quality. And I think we've got to make sure we respect what a good team Scotland are and the chances they took. Ultimately, we made it easy for them to try. Made it too easy for them to score. In terms of the chances they took, but they were very clinical. The huge lesson for our team as we develop is the number of turnovers makes it very difficult to win.
Obviously, you're rebuilding and does this result dent that?
I think we'd all love progression to be in a nice linear path. Ultimately, it's not, especially when you're trying to do it at this level. I think what you saw there is a team that's trying to develop, trying to add layers to the game, and made errors there and got punished for them. Sometimes you get away with it, and sometimes you don't. Against a team like Scotland, you don't. And so it's a big learning experience. It's a really painful lesson. You start, as you look at it, seen against a Scotland team that's been together a long time. I think they're 10, 12, 13 started together a dozen tests. I think that's the first time our 10, 12, 13 have started together. And it looked like that, didn't it? It looked like a lack of cohesion in what they did and too many just fundamental errors.
Are you frustrated?
I think after a defeat, you're always disappointed. In fact, after a performance where you don't think you've maximised your potential, it's always disappointment. You know, that it doesn't matter the result and the scoreboard in that sense. If you don't maximise your potential, it's disappointment. And I don't think the team maximised their potential today.
Jamie, you talked about, obviously you have taken people with you, obviously, and spoken to them about what's been going on. What's your message to the supporters been?
I hope they saw the same level of fight and commitment that we showed over the last few weeks. I think the foundations are good, but I think as players we need to be better. We need to execute the game plan better, and we're fully aware of that. We knew that it was going to be difficult coming up here, the history that goes into the game, but we weren't good enough today. I think one thing that hopefully the fans saw in the first 20 minutes of the game is a blueprint of how English rugby, how we want to play as a team. But it's now about our ability to back that up for 80 minutes.
For you personally, would it be important to have a start next week and just take it?
Yeah, I guess so. We're assembling again on Wednesday next week, so I think it's important for everyone to get some time off in these breaks. Test rugby can be pretty cruel at times. I think we saw that today. But I think it's important for everyone to spend some time with their families.
Jamie, would you understand England fans being quite frustrated? They've been told for a long time now that this team's building and growing, and something will come eventually, and they're not necessarily seeing it in the Six Nations at least. Like the World Cup is obviously an improvement.
I think that's.
Can you see that side of it?
I can. I think that's quite a hard thing to talk about. If you look at probably our run of form over the last 9 or 10 games, we won a lot of those last games. So yes, I can understand it. I think if you look at the more global picture of where we're at as a team and how we're performing and where we're progressing to, I think, if you take a step back and look at it as a whole, there are a lot of positive signs. Do we need to get better? Absolutely. Are we doing everything that we can to do that? Yes.
And is there something you can put your finger on with those handling errors? Like why that it seems to just be so much more than usual?
Yeah, probably not at the time. I think there certainly was an element that we needed more composure off the back of turnovers. I think we put Scotland under a lot of pressure, put them turned them over quite a lot, but we needed more composure, composure to get into the right position, because our intent is always, you can never doubt our intent onto the ball. So that was frustrating. But the nice thing is that we can make sure that we fix that and put some emphasis on that over the next couple of weeks.
How do you pick the team up? I know you've got a break, but the next match is obviously Ireland, who are fizzing, aren't they, really? And that looks a daunting prospect at the moment. So how do you kind of recharge and re-energise for that?
We optimise the week that we have. The fact that we're back at Twickenham is very exciting to me. We've spoken a lot about the record that we want to create at Twickenham, how hard a place it needs to be for opposition to come to, and that's very much going to be the focus. Ireland are a great team, we know that. They've shown that over the last few weeks, the last few months, couple of years. But we're going to be a very tough team to beat at Twickenham.
It's one of the most important things after a result like this, not to have knee-jerk reactions. Because, like you said, there's a lot that's going to that try exactly what you're about doing. You put it out there. So there's a lot out there that in points that is delivering what you want, isn't it? So it's that important thing not to kind of overreact to.
Yeah, of course it is. I think as ever, when you reflect on a game, you look at what you did well and what you probably need to improve on. It's very clear when there's the statistics show that the handling errors were, the way that we turned the ball over wasn't good enough today. That's very clear. But there is going to be some things that we look back and go, that's what English rugby needs to be about. That's what this team is going to be about, going forward. And I think we saw a lot of that in the first 20 minutes. I didn't see it in the second 20. And the contrast, I think, will be pretty clear for us when we look at it back. So, huge learning for us. Young team, excited to learn. And we've got to learn fast going ahead into Ireland.
Steve, were you encouraged by a few performances off your bench? Because a lot of those guys, not a lot of experience.
No. And I think part of that, as you step forward, is gradually developing them experience at test level. Some of those guys haven't played a huge amount of Premiership rugby either, as you start looking at them. But I think what you're seeing is guys I think are going to play for England for a long time, and I think are going to be very good England players. From a point of view is ensuring to get that progression at the right time so their development continues to accelerate.
Okay, guys.